Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. I just wanted to show you my almost complete, I would say about 98% complete Surron. This thing took about 10 hours to assemble, tore it down to the entire, just the frame, and then rebuilt it with all the parts that I wanted. And I'm just gonna go over some of the ones I got and why I did, and hope you enjoy. All right, so first on to the power plan. I wanted my Surron to have some power because I'm a big guy, 6'4", 235 pounds, and I wanted this thing to have some power. So I went with a Chibattery 72 max, 51 amp per hour battery. This thing's big beast, with a KO Nano Controller. Now this thing maxes out at 17 kilowatts. I have it at 17 right now, and that's probably as much power as I'll ever need. And then I didn't want to worry about burning up my stock motor, so I went with a KO factory spec motor. So again, I'm a tall guy, about 6'4", and I wanted the Surron to fit me well, so I went with 21-inch wheel in the front, 18-inch wheel in the back. They're XL wheels and Kenda tires. I was told this is kind of like an on-road, off-road tire because I do about 50-50 on dirt and on road, just around my house riding around. So I wanted something that wasn't too knobby, and these are very, very smooth tires. In the back, I went with a 60-tooth rear sprocket by Warp 9. Of course, I had to buy an extended chain to accommodate that, but the 60-tooth is kind of the sweet spot from what I've read for torque and still allowing you to have some top speed. Also wanted to accent it with some cool titanium bolts that I have throughout the bike. They look pretty snazzy, I think. All right, for suspension, I upgraded the main stock coil because I am a heavy guy at 230 pounds. This is a 750 pound spring, which is a lot stronger for someone my weight. Also upgraded the suspension triangle to a Warp 9, as well as the S-Link to a Warp 9. One thing that I'm excited about that I don't see on too many Surrons is this extension plate here and here. A lot of Surrons have like seat risers that move the seat back and up, but this part down here moves the swing arm and everything back a couple inches too, so it makes the wheelbase about 2.5, 3 inches longer, which is better for, you know, keeping the front wheel on the ground. And this is a company called Shiva Racing makes these. I got it out of Russia. It was kind of a pain to install. I had to have my buddy come over and help me put this in. Definitely a two-man job, but it just moves everything back and up. Also has 2 mounting holes for the pegs, so you can move them forward or back if you wish. Speaking of pegs, I bought some wider aluminum ones versus the stock. Also invested in some JFG frame sliders. I don't really plan to really be ripping this thing too much, but I don't want to mess up this expensive motor or the frame if it does topple over. Front suspension, I sent in my forks to Charged Cycle Works in Utah. It was about $350, and I don't really know what they do, but they just make everything a little bit more performance-based versus the stock forks. Of course, upgraded the front and rear rotors to 220mm, as well as some Gaffner e-brake pads, which are supposedly, from what I've read, I bought them from Charged Cycle Works. They said they're a much higher performance brake pad, and then again, some titanium bolts to accent it. And then on this side, I bought a Prickly Motorsports motor guard, so you can still see the drive belt and gear in there, but it just allows a little bit more ventilation. I don't really ride this thing too much in the dirt, but I do occasionally spray it out with my air compressor when I'm done riding it in dirt, because it is, you know, dirt can access inside there more easily with this cover, but it also provides more cooling, and it looks pretty cool, I thought. Now, because I installed taller tires, the stock kickstand wasn't working, so I installed a JFG Racing extended kickstand, which allows you to telescope how much you need, and that works quite well. For the seat, I just bought a wrap that goes over the stock seat by a company called Enjoy. I bought it on Amazon. I'll put links below to everything that I got and where I got it. But this thing is fairly comfortable, definitely has a sticky gripness to it versus the stock one where I was kind of sliding off when I was riding it. Went with a BajaDesignes S2 Pro headlight. Pretty bright sucker for being flood and spotlight together, along with a Warp 9 headlight switch for easy on and off access. I have a Warp 9 handlebar stem that brings it up 1.5 inches or so, as well as some 5-inch riser handlebars, and then some ODI, I think they're V2 Rogue hand grips. These things are really, really sticky, and what I like about them is they just bolt on. You don't have to use any glue, and they seem really, really solid. And lastly, decided to add some kind of camouflage black camo vinyl, which I thought accented everything pretty good. It's not too noticeable at a distance, but again, when you get up close, I think it looks pretty freaking cool. Well, everyone, that kind of sums up my 2023 Surron build. I'm quite happy with it. For someone my height and size and weight, this thing feels like an adult bike and the thing really moves. I think I might in the future upgrade to one of the Pro controllers by KO that allow up to, I think, 30 kilowatts. But 17 kilowatts for the time being seems to be more power than I need. I can do burnouts, I can pull up the front wheel, but I can see more power potentially in the future being a positive. So please leave your comments below. Tell me what you think. I respond to all comments, and stay tuned for future Surron videos.